What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Blown Coverage. Today, guys, we have a very special guest with us, Yann Oliveira, competing at Combat FC5. How are we feeling, my man? How's the camp going?
I feel great, brother. I feel really good. Camp is going phenomenal. We're training very hard. We are checking off every box. Yeah, everything is going as it should.
Amazing.
Yeah, Yann, I had a question, coming into this, I did a little, research on you, noticed that you had taken a, 8-year layoff. So I had a couple questions regarding that, what, took you to that layoff, and then ultimately what brought you back to the sport of MMA?
The real reason why I took the time off is 8 years ago, I had my daughter. I had my first girl. And it was one of those things where I was coming home from work every day, and immediately leaving to go training. And by the time I got home, my daughter was already asleep. By the time I left in the morning, she was still asleep. So it was one of those things where I really wasn't getting to spend much time at all with my family. And at that point in my life, my career that I was working on then was more important to me. I had to put food on the table. I had to feed my family. And, and let's face it, on the beginning of your career as an MMA fighter, you really don't make a whole lot of money. So, I had to do what I had to do to feed my family and make sure that I was providing for them. So that was the real reason why I took such a long time off.
Gotcha.
Go ahead, buddy. Sorry about that.
I wanted to ask, how important is it to you to find more success and prove that you are still one of the top guys in this division?
Yeah, I mean, it's very important to me. This entire time where I took such a long layoff, I got to watch a bunch of bums become champion, winning belts. And I got to see a bunch of guys who are really not that good make it to the UFC. And I'm seeing this and I'm like, what is going on? What's happening? Why are these guys winning belts? Why are these guys going to the UFC? And they're really not that good. They're really not that talented. So I said, you know what? I'm going to come back. I've had a lot of people, my coaches and a lot of my friends, they're just like, dude, you got to come back. You were so good back in the day. Everybody had high hopes for you and you just stopped, come back, So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to come back and I'm going to show these people how it's done. So.
Yeah. So, after your last fight, you had a little quote that kind of stuck with me, because when I was watching your fight, I felt the exact same way of the quote. You said that you have controlled violence, and I really saw that with you. You were very calm during the fight. You never put yourself in any bad positions. You look very confident. And, this is one of the reasons why I was so excited to interview you today, because, I see that same thing that your coaches kind of talk to you about you having great potential, and you just have a lot of poise, which is, fresh to see in MMA.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah. It's one of those things. That's one thing I live by. That's what I call my style of fighting, is controlled violence. I'm very calm and collected when I'm in there. Not really worried about what my opponent's gonna do. I don't really think too much about what they bring to the table. I think more of what I'm going to do, how I'm going to win my fight, how I'm going to fight my fight. I don't care what my opponent's gonna do. It means nothing to me. They're not gonna come out of nowhere and throw a super punch. I don't think so. That's not gonna happen. It's just another man. He puts his pants on the same way I do every morning. So I'm never really worried about what my opponent's gonna do, what they bring to the table. As long as I stay calm, relaxed, and I bring my controlled violence, I know I can beat anybody. And that's what I bring. It's just truly what it is. It's controlled violence. I'm a very violent man, but I keep it controlled.
So, follow-up question here. What are your goals now? I mean, obviously, you're coming back. Second fight back. where do you see you going from here? Because I know that you mentioned that you're, fight at 155 as well. Going past this fight, I know it's not always good to look past the fight, but, do you see yourself staying at 170 or going down to 155?
I most likely will go down to 155 because, to be quite honest with you, 185 was not my weight class. It was just a very heavy weight. I got very heavy during the 8 years that I didn't fight. This might come as a shock, but at one point I weighed 240 pounds.
Holy smokes.
I got up to 240 pounds. Man, when I looked at myself, I thought I looked fat, right? But everybody else around me was just like, dude, you don't look fat. You just look big. You look strong, and I'm one of those guys that I carry it well. I'm a very physically strong dude. Yeah. And I just looked big and strong. I looked like I was just hitting the gym every day, really. But in reality, I was fat, man. I got up to 240 pounds. I had a belly going that I wasn't happy about. And the whole idea was, what's a weight class that's going to make me work hard, that I got to work to get to, but it's also realistic considering the fact that I have not fought in 8 years. And middleweight was that weight class. I was like, you know what? I know I can make middleweight. I know I can make 185. And it's still a lot of weight to go to get there. Yep. But it's gonna be one of those things that if this is what I really want, I'm gonna have to work to get there. This will keep me on. And it kept me honest. I made 185. I know I'm not a 185er. If you look at myself and Steven Stengel, you see that he's a bigger dude than me. He's taller, he's bigger. But reality is, I was a lot stronger than him. I'm very physically strong. For example, I can deadlift 600 pounds. I was born and raised in a farm, in Brazil. So I have that weird farm boy strength that, it just, you either have it or you don't. And fortunately for me, I do. But a realistic weight class for me, I really truly do believe it's 155. I think at 155 pounds, I'm a really big 155er. And to be honest with you, I was just at American Top Team. I was there for 8 days, and I was around some guys that fought at 155. And one thing that I got to see is like, oh damn, like I'm way bigger than they are, and even talking to Thiago Alves, the Pitbull, talking to Mike Brown, they were both like, dude, you'd be a huge 155er. You'd have a lot of strength, on those guys, considering your size and your strength. So I think that's it for me. I think I'm gonna fight this fight at 170, and I'm looking to fight for the 155-pound belt for Combat FC for my next fight. That's what I'm looking for. That's the only thing I will accept next from Combat FC. It's the 155-pound title.
I love to hear it, man. If you could put it between the lightweight division, the welterweight division, if you could put it all into perspective, how happy are you so far with what you've already accomplished?
Not happy one bit. I think I have a lot to do still.
Yes.
I've only fought, this was my first fight back in 8 years. So I'm not giving myself no pats on the back.
Right.
I have nothing to necessarily be proud of. I guess there's something to be proud of. I worked real hard. I lost over 50 pounds in total, to get to this fight, and I got myself in good shape. So I guess that is something to be proud of. But when it comes down to what I've accomplished in fighting, I got nothing to be proud of yet. I'm not happy with anything necessarily when it comes down to that. I got a lot of work to do, and I'm willing to do it.
Absolutely. Outside of training, when you're not training and things like that, what are things that you like to do in your free time, or just things that you do to get your mind off of training?
To be honest with you, I'm a workaholic. I love it. I own a construction business. I work a lot, and I have 3 kids. I have my daughter, who just turned 8 years old. So she was the reason why for the layoff. I have my little boy, Bryce. He's 3 years old. He's going to be 4 next week, the day after my fight on the 16th. And, and then I just had a baby girl about 3 weeks ago, Charlie.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Amazing.
So I have 3 kids. So that's what I do, man. I work a lot. I do the best I can to provide my family with a life, that I've never had. That's really what gets my mind off of things. But outside of that, I love going fast. I love cars. To be honest with you, so next year I will be racing professionally.
Nice.
So yeah, I just got in a racing program, so I'm gonna be racing BMW next year. So I'm excited about that. That's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah, man, it sounds amazing. Sounds great. Growing up, did you always know that you wanted to be a fighter, or did it just kind of come to you over time?
Not at all, man. Growing up, I wanted to be a soccer player. You grow up in Brazil. Yeah. Everybody has that dream of becoming a professional soccer player. For the most part, that's what I thought I would do. I thought I was going to be a professional soccer player. And, then one day I tried MMA and I'm like, man, this is pretty cool. Like, this is awesome. So I stuck with it.
Yeah, you're not kicking soccer balls, you're kicking heads now. So
that's right.
Close enough. So I wanted to ask, so you grew up in the Massachusetts area or New Hampshire? When you came from Brazil, obviously.
Mostly, so I lived in Massachusetts for a while. Then I lived in New Hampshire for a while as well. I just pretty much went back and forth a few times between both states. But I've been in New Hampshire for a little while now, and I'll be honest with you, I would never move back to Massachusetts, I tell you that.
Really? Yeah, I lived in Mass for a while. I lived there for about 2 years. Yeah, the winters are pretty harsh there, but I love how how important sports are to everybody there,
Yeah.
Being able to go to Patriots games and stuff. Do you watch football at all, or you?
I do. I'm a huge football fan. I live for football season.
Amazing.
College football, NFL. I love it.
Who are your teams?
The Patriots.
Okay. Me too. All right.
You guys would get along perfectly, man.
How do you think Mac Jones is doing?
Not well.
Yeah, same.
Got Juju though. You never know.
Poor guy. It's all good. Zappy hour.
Yeah, something's got to change here.
Yeah.
We got very spoiled with Brady for a long time. So yeah.
Definitely.
Absolutely. So your opponent, coming up on September 15th, your opponent's Derek DeFreitas. He's got a record of 2-6. He's coming off 4 losses. If you could tell us, when you got into this camp and as you've gone through the progression, have you seen any holes in your opponent's game? I mean, I know you don't want to give away the game plan, obviously, but is there anything that specifically you and your team have looked at and you're like, okay, we're going to capitalize on this or on that? Yeah.
So I don't think his record is 2-6. I think it's 7-6. No? But for some reason, I thought he had a winning record, a 7-6 record. I thought. I could be wrong, but I think that's what it is. At least that's what I was told. It's what showed online.
Let me look it up again.
Yeah.
Nice, 2-6, 4 losses. Current streak is 4 losses. I believe so.
Yeah, that's weird. Somewhere else that I had seen was 7.
Interesting.
7-6.
I could have done my wrong due diligence, so you can go ahead and blame me for that if it is wrong.
It's all good. We can't always be right. Yeah, I'm on MMA Share Dog right now. It says 7-6.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
All right, well, hey, he's got 7-6 record. I guess back to the question: is there anything holes you see in his game? He's obviously got some competition in the past, but you're coming after that belt. You're looking to make a statement. So how important is this for you next Friday?
This is very important. I'm not taking Derek lightly at all. Derek, you gotta have some skills to have at least 7 wins in MMA. He's got 7 wins. I'm not taking him lightly. So this is very important to me. I'm taking this fight very seriously. I'm doing all the right things. I'm training hard. I'm dieting right. I literally have a nutritionist that's literally coming here and staying with me from Sunday all the way to the day after the fight to make sure that the rest of my cut goes well, that the dehydration goes well, that rehydration goes well. You know, so I'm doing all the right things. I think Derek has a lot of holes in his game. I don't think he has a very good ground game. I don't think he can wrestle. And I think he keeps his chin up in the air a little too much, man. And you know, I have very slick striking, and I'm fast, and I hit very hard. So, you know, if that chin is up in the air, he's gonna get touched. And I'm one of those guys that all I need is to land one. If I land one, you can go out. Yeah. So, you know, and I have a very good wrestling game. You know, my wrestling is very strong. I'm very hard to be taken down. So I'm not worried about him taking me down at all. The only way I'm getting down on a canvas is if I slip on a banana peel. You know, other than that, he's not taking me down. I can tell you that. Yeah. You know, and if the fight ends up on the ground, it's because I want the fight to be on the ground, not because he wants to. You know, and if I want to keep the fight on the ground, I'll keep the fight on the ground. He's not getting up. I can tell you that. Yeah. So, but sorry, somebody was calling my phone. But I think this fight is important. I think, you know, Derek has a lot of holes, and I hope he's been training hard because I'm coming to take him out. You know, I'm not coming to play with him. I'm really coming to take him out.
Sure.
Yeah. So I mean, you know, all that given, you know, you train really hard. What do you incorporate some type of like film study, like when you prepare for an opponent? Do you think that's a pretty important thing to do, like film study?
Somewhat. I don't necessarily study them when I watch their fight. I more so just, you know, I just like to see what they do in a fight, how they act. You know, I don't do a whole lot of studying, to be honest with you. I let my coaches do that. Typically, my coaches will do all that, and we'll go from there. But to be quite honest with you, I've never had a single fight that we had in a specific game plan. We don't typically come up with game plans. Typically, it's just like, if I go in there and I fight my fight, I fight the way I fight, I'll beat anybody. You know, so I really don't worry much about what my opponent will do.
Yeah. So I know you've been on a strict diet, you know, as of late, getting ready for your fight. What's your post-fight meal gonna look like? Do you already have that planned, or you just kind of go with the flow?
No. So I absolutely love ice cream.
Oh,
okay.
Cool.
Big sweets,
love
man, huh?
What was that?
Big sweets, man.
Huge. I love sugar. So I am very excited to have some ice cream. I am very excited to have a big, fat, juicy burger.
Yeah.
You know? So, yeah, man, I can't wait to eat. I really am a fat kid at heart. You know, I have this fat kid in me that just wants to get out. I love food. I just love food. But I made a promise to myself. I said that after this fight, I will not allow myself to get past 180, 185 pounds. I will not. No matter what, I will stick around between 180 to 185.
Yeah, it'd be tough. I know, like, to shut off that weight again. So it's good to maintain it for sure. Yeah. And that's good that you have that type of discipline to kind of stop yourself from doing it. Because I'm the same way. Fat kid at heart. You know, if I could, I'd be eating 24/7. But yeah, nah, I get what you're saying with that. For sure.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This might be off track, but you know, just what are some things like downsides of being a professional fighter, and what are like the upsides in your eyes?
Downsides is how much time I spend away from my family. You know, my wife absolutely hates it, and she is standing in the kitchen right now, kissing the baby because she's holding the baby's arm, and she's sitting there kissing the baby, looking at me, and I think that's the downside is being away from my family, being away from my kids. not being able to be as fun as they wish I could be, because I'm always on the go. I'm either working or I'm training. And some days are very late nights, for example, right now is 7 o'clock, 7:18. And once this is over, I'm going to training.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where I know my family wishes they could have me home more. Yeah, I'd say that's the biggest downside, being away from my family and, always traveling to go train somewhere. And so that's it. But the upside really is that I'm doing something that I really love. I really enjoy competing. I'm not outside of the cage. I'm really not a violent person. Anybody that knows me outside of fighting, they'll say I'm just about the nicest guy to everyone. I treat everybody good with respect, very respectful, not a violent person. But I enjoy it. I enjoy competing. And I no longer have to fight for money, so it's one of those things that I now fight because I want to fight. I'm fighting because this is what I want to do. It's not because I need to make money. It's not because I want the money. It's because it's what I love doing.
Yeah.
So, the upside is, I'm doing something I love, and people, it is cool, when you get recognized too, I haven't been on a big stage, and I'm telling you right now, I will be in the big stage by next year. By the end of 2024, I can guarantee you that I will be in the UFC. I have no doubt about that. I'll be in the UFC by the end of 24. I'm gonna take some guys out and I'm gonna make a statement. I'm gonna show them what I'm capable of. But it's cool already. Even when I go places, sometimes people are like, "Hey man, I saw you fight, and you're awesome. You're insane. You're this, you're that." So it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's actually leading into my next question. As far as nowadays in the UFC, you have guys like Colby Covington, Conor McGregor, who created this big brand and really blew up their persona. How important do you think that is nowadays? Especially with social media around, to make sure to connect with your fans, one at the shows, on social media, different things like that. Have a brand. How important do you think that is nowadays?
It's extremely important. It's honestly, this is gonna sound crazy, but I feel like it's 80% entertaining and 20% fighting nowadays. The only way to actually get paid is to talk a bunch of crap, be exciting, engage with people, be that person that people love to hate. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's like you don't want to be hated by everybody, but you gotta make some people hate you in order for a whole bunch to love you. Because even the people that hate you, they can't help but to stop. They can't help it. They can't stop talking about you. You know what I mean? They always want to talk about you. They always have something to say. So it doesn't really change. Whether you're just a shit talker or you're just a good fighter. I think it's I think it takes a long ways. Just calling everybody out and talking all kinds of shit. That's what people want to see. I'll be honest with you, I'm not that guy. I'm really not. Like
a silent assassin.
Yeah, I'm a silent assassin. I don't talk a whole lot of shit. I'm not the type of person to get in my opponent's face and push them. I don't do that. That's just not me. I don't call people out. I don't, insult their family, their mom and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I don't do that. It's just not who I am. At the end of the day, it's a sport, that's all I'm looking to do. And I'm big when it comes down to respect. I feel like it's very important to respect one another. So it's just not who I am. I don't know. Maybe I'll change. Maybe when I get there, maybe when I get to that point, maybe I change, but I don't know. I don't see that happening. I think I'll just make a statement by knocking everybody out You know,
that works too.
I think that works pretty good too sometimes.
Yeah,
absolutely. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like we got to know you a pretty good bit, man. We're really excited for your upcoming fight next Friday, September 15th, Combat FC 5. It's going to be available, guys, on UFC Fight Pass. Tune in to watch Yann Oliveira versus Derek DeFreitas, welterweight division. And guys, this one's going to be a banger. Be sure to tune in. Is there anything else you got for us, Corey?
That's it, man. I just want to wish you luck, Yann. I know you're going to beast it up this coming Friday. You know, you seem like you have a goal and nothing's going to stop you, and I truly see that. And I'm excited for what the future holds for you, and I'm excited to see you in UFC.
Thank you. Thank you so much, guys.
I hope we see you get that belt, man.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm telling you right now, I'll get through Derek next week. I'll beat him. I have no doubts about that. And after that, somebody's gonna have to fight me for the 155-pound title for Combat FC. So I'm looking forward to that. So I hope to see you guys there. I don't know if you'll be at the fight. If you are, hope to see you there.
Yeah, we're gonna do our best. We're gonna talk to our marketing team, see if we're able to make it out. I just have one request though for next Friday's fight. It is my birthday, so I would love to see you get a win for my birthday, man.
I got you, brother. I got you.
Thank you.
I'll get a win for you, and many more to come. So
get that win, and you're gonna get that belt.
Absolutely, brother. Absolutely. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate you having me on. It's been a pleasure, and yeah, anytime you want to have me back, just let me know.
Absolutely. One last thing, Yann, can you shout out the Blown Coverage for us? This is Yann Oliveira, and you're watching the Blown Coverage.
This is Yann Oliveira, and you are watching Blown Coverage.
Appreciate it, my man. Thanks. Good luck to you on your fight. Hopefully we'll see you there, man, but we'll be in touch soon.
All right. Thank you so much. We'll see you.
Have a great night. God bless.
You too.
Thanks.